Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of your favorite podcast, guys. And in today's episode, guys, we are basically going to clear the mystery of why your competitor is selling more than you. Okay? There are some people who are making God knows how many sales, and you're not. You're making zip. Why is it? I'm going to give you the answer to that. Okay? So anyway, so this is what we're talking about. I was talking about this with a friend of mine. Actually, it's someone that I respect a lot, and I bought one of his courses and stuff. And there were a few things that he was discussing in there. Then we had the discussion about it. So we've all had the situation where you're looking at someone else on the internet, okay? And you're in the same market, you're in the same niche and stuff. But these people, they seem to be making a buttload of money. And they're not even as sophisticated as you are. So when you're looking at their sales pages, you're like, well, how the hell does this thing sell? I do not understand. Why are people buying from this person? I spent 3 days, polishing the sales page. It's much better. There's this, there's that. Why is it that, people are buying? And in some cases, I've seen some folks, they don't even have a freaking sales page, man. They don't even have one. It's like, oh, go here, buy this link. Oh, here is a Google document, go pay, and people pay for it. And you're like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Okay. So we've all been there. It's not just you. I have the same thing. And I want to tell you kind of like the discussion that we had with my friend, because it will help a whole bunch of you. So one thing is this, and one thing that you need to understand is, the reason why people buy, and the fact that, here's the thing, I'm going to give you the kind of like the answer to the stuff is, of course you need to spend time working on your sales page and stuff. So because we were talking about sales pages, what you put in the sales page, the formulation, the blah blah blah, etc. And we basically came to the conclusion that, yeah, this is cool. Obviously you want to do this, it's going to increase your conversions, but there is a limit to it. Okay, and you need to understand those limits, because if you don't, then you're going to be disappointed, you're going to give up and stuff. Here's the limit. The limit is that the best sales page on the planet is not going to replace the trust that people have in you. All right, so let me explain this. People buy from people they like and trust, okay? So, it's one of the big elements. So, here's the thing. If I trust you with my life, but you have the worst possible sales page on the planet, I will buy. I trust you. I will buy. Hey, who cares about the sales page? I buy. Now, the opposite is not true. If people have a genuine mistrust in you because they're like, dude, this guy is a scammer, you can have the best sales page on the freaking planet. People are not going to buy from you. So I'm not saying you don't need a good sales page. Of course you need one, but you need to be conscious of what a sales page can do and what a sales page cannot do. Okay. Now, how do you build the trust? What's the trust factor? How does that work? So, I will just scratch the surface of this thing. I'm not an expert on the topic, and this is not scripted. You know what I mean? So, so I'm going to tell you on top of my head. There are two components for me of trust, right? There's your reputation. So it's external stuff. What is coming from outside about you? Okay. What are people saying about you? Do you, were you, published, blah, 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 the accolades, the stuff like that. Do you have visibility? And then I know that kind of stuff. These are some of the components. I'll say what people are saying about you, okay? Because sometimes there's not much to say about you. Like, there's not much that people are actually saying, okay? So it could be, yeah, you know what? This guy's the best. He's the best on the market. Blah, 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 etc. Obviously, that will bring the trust factor. But sometimes this thing is not there. Now, element number two is what people can see kind of like from the outside. All right. So let's say, for example, they can see your face on plastered on all the billboards and stuff. So the billboard doesn't say if you're trustworthy or not, but the fact that you're everywhere and they can see you on YouTube, they can see you on blah, 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 and you have a whole bunch of people following you. So these people didn't say, I follow him because he's trustworthy, is this, is that. They just follow you. So these elements there will add to kind of like your credibility and the trust factor, okay? And then the third, I think, is the interaction that you actually had with the person who's going to buy from you. So did they consume your content? Did you have interactions with them? How did it go? And stuff, okay? And so all of this goes into building the trust. And one thing that I'll tell you is, you know, it takes time, okay, to build like real trust, like with an audience. And that's the most frustrating part, because you're like, dude, I have this product. This is the best product on the planet. Why these idiots are not buying from me? What are they stupid? Why is it blah, 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 etc. It's just that at this point, you haven't established the trust. They're not, I think I can trust this guy, right? And you need to work on this. And what, you know, kind of like, how do you build that trust, right? I will say this is, it's your, that's the thing, reputation, your reputation and your actions, they will precede you. And, you know, when people say your reputation precedes you and stuff like that, you don't realize when you're young, but it's very true, okay? So there is, for me, is who you are as a person, how you act, all right? Is very important to me. So, for example, how do you treat people? How do how nice are you to people? Like, if people are beginners and they need help, do you go out of your way to help them? Are you genuinely interested in helping them? Or it looks like you're trying to just sell them something that they don't need, right? Are you authentic? You know, like, do you, without going on camera and start crying and take videos of you depressed, blah, 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 but are you honest about the stuff that that you put out? Does it seem like you believe in what you're putting out? Because people can feel that stuff, and also, do you, and this is, again, I'm not perfect and I've done many of those things, but I'm not going to lie to you here saying, oh man, I'm Mr. Perfect, I've never done that. I've done a lot of stuff that I wouldn't do today, when I was younger. So one of those things, I think, basically talking about stuff that I have never done and I don't necessarily know how to do it. I just know the mechanics because I heard someone talk about it. And I can sound convincing enough that, yeah, I know how it's done and blah, blah, blah. I give you the mechanics with fancy words and stuff, So these things there, for example, for me today, this is something that I refuse to do. I like to talk about stuff that I actually know, right? Stuff that I really know how to do, stuff that I have done myself. And it brings me, people will respect it. I don't mind telling you, if you ask me, how does that work? I will tell you, I don't know, right? I don't know enough to tell you, okay? Well, and maybe I know someone who knows, and I can refer you to that person, but I will be very honest with it. So I remember there's a friend of mine who asked me for like financial advice, for like investment and stuff. So she's like, yeah, I would like you to teach me investing and stuff. And I said, look, I'm going to be very honest. I'm not a financial advisor, right? I'm not qualified to give you advice on that stuff. I haven't studied that stuff, right? So one thing I can show you is what I do, what I've done for myself, but in no way, shape, or form can I tell you that I'm a financial advisor. And so I cannot come here and say, yeah, I'm ready to pay whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I cannot come and charge you stupid money for a stuff that I don't know, I'm not qualified for, even, charging you money for it. So yeah, I insist and stuff. And I told her, I said, look, again, please, I repeated that a million times. I am not a financial advisor, okay? So I can show you what I have done, I don't know everything, and blah, blah, blah. These are the limits of what I can do. And I like to do this. I like to, the rare times and occasions when I have to deal with clients, I like to be very honest with them about what I can do, what I cannot do, okay? Because then for me, it's a lot of stress. And for them, I don't want to, I don't want to be in a situation where they're going to call me and stuff like that, And so all these things, your track record, right? Are you upfront? Are you honest with people? Do they feel like you're genuine in what you say? Seems like you know what you're talking about. Do you seem to be a decent person? Not someone who will bark at the waiter and like all these things. We don't realize. We just think that it's just words on a sales page, but all that stuff matters, right? And do you keep your promises? All right, this one is big. Do you actually deliver on what you say you're going to deliver? So first of all, you say you're going to do something. Do you actually do it? And secondly, when you do it, does it actually kind of like go in the direction that you kind of like promised? You know what I mean? And all these things will come into effect for people to like open their wallets. And that's so the tip of the iceberg that we see is, look at this ugly sales page. This guy, he just sent a link and people bought, 20 people. But what you didn't see is the whole buildup of the stuff, how they built the community, how they were transparent with everything, how they, went, beyond, like, above and beyond to help those people and all that kind of stuff, which means that then afterwards, it doesn't matter if the thing is on the toilet paper, right? Oh, I'll give you this on the toilet paper. People are going to buy, okay? So I think it will help. The reason why I'm telling you this is, first of all, it's going to help you long-term to figure out how to get more people to buy from you, okay? Now, the other thing is going to help you personally in your daily life in terms of like bitterness and resentment and anger and stuff like, oh, this is unfair. Why? Blah, blah, blah. Well, it's because of this. It's a big factor. It's not the only factor, but it's a big factor, right? Now you're going to tell me, oh, well, but there's some con men who have done that. Well, these con men, they're just very, very con men and women. They're very skilled at getting people to trust them. Okay. So and these people, here's the psychology. If these people, they're very, you trust them, right? And then you ask them questions and they will give you a very blurry answer with like fancy words. And you're like, huh? Oh, but yeah, it must be true. I trust them. Okay. And this is how people get sucked into like Ponzi schemes and stuff, which if they talk for a second, they will see that, that does not make any sense. All right. I remember back in the days with one of my colleagues, we had this challenge where in meetings with clients, we had to incorporate a sentence that didn't mean the damn thing. It didn't mean anything, but we had fancy sounding words that make us look, like poets or something. And so we had this challenge and you go blah, 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 blah. And then the customer's like, huh? And you can see on their face that they did not understand anything. And then, huh? And then like, oh, yeah, because they trust you. Now, if they didn't, like, for example, if you do not trust me and you ask me a question about that Ponzi scheme I'm trying to get you in, which is a fictitious situation right here, right, please? And I give you a blurry answer, you're going to dig in. Hey, wait, this doesn't sound right, blah, blah, etc. So trust will take you farther than a good sales page. Obviously, work on your copywriting, work on blah, 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 but this is not the end of the road, okay? And you have to understand the limits of your copywriting, of your sales page and stuff, and you have to stop resenting people who seem to be selling more than you. It's because they worked on this whole package of, the credibility, the reputation, the engagement that built the trust, which makes sure that regardless how they're asking people to pay, oh yeah, send me checks, even before the product is done, then people are going to do it. Okay. That is basically the kind of like the magic formula, I'll say, which is not magic formula because it just takes time and it takes work. Okay. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much. Bye.